Hello and welcome to the DNX podcast. My name is Silvia Christmann. I am your host, and today it's just me. No guests today. I am doing a much anticipated solo episode. By much anticipated, I'm not saying that I will say anything that is going to change your life. I'm really just commenting on the fact that I've had this on my calendar for about 2 months, and I have been postponing it over and over and over again because I love interviewing people, and I just kept prioritizing interviews with interesting people for this podcast over sitting here and checking in with you guys myself. I am super excited that we are launching the DNX Academy and in German at the moment. So there'll be a lot of incredible people launching their courses and their wisdom through that network. And soon there will be more. So that's kept me really busy. And, as you know, when you move around the world a lot, there are so many incredible opportunities that you can take advantage of, and you also have to learn how to say no. So today I want to talk to you about what it means to say no and why it's so important that when you say hell yes to yourself, when you know what your true north is, why that might sound like a no to someone else. That is a very basic principle that one of my teachers told me many, many years ago. Let me think, that was probably 14 years ago at this point. And I really stuck with it because when you learn who you are and what's important to you, what your dream is, and you know what you want, not what you don't want, but if you know what you want and what's important to you, that means you're always saying yes to what it will take to move your dream and your vision for your life forward. Now, that yes to yourself, that yes to your vision, that yes to your dream, that might sound like a no to someone else, but it is still a yes towards what you see in your future, in your life, and what is important to you. I think the ways that came up for me here over the last few weeks was that I was really holding on to my idea of how I had created a life for myself. And one of them was I have a base in New York City, and I've been in this base for 10 years, and I love it. I love my life here. I love the people in my life. I love my neighbors. I love the people that own stores on my street. It's my identity. It's my baseline. And at the same time, I don't use it very much. It's basically one of the most expensive storage units you can ever have. And really thinking through, where did my need to have an anchor in this world, an emotional anchor that makes me feel like I'm a New York. I'm a New Yorker. That's like a thing, If you know what it means to be a New Yorker, that's a real thing. Like, I'm a New Yorker. I love being a New Yorker, and I feel like I earned my right to call myself one. And I probably have the attitude to prove it. And holding on to that identity was always really important to me. Now, in reality, my life is actually unfolding globally and has been unfolding globally for a very long time, probably for the last 7 years. I'm not a nomad per se, maybe a slow mad, right? Where I'm based on projects, based on opportunities, events, speaking engagements, and client work. I move around the world quite a bit. To me, the world feels like a teeny tiny playground where I get to go and experience life. But having this anchor and having a place where I feel like I'm rooted, where the majority of my identity feels like it's at home, has always been very important to me. And so the question of identity was something that I've been throwing around a lot over the last few weeks. That, like my mailing address and zip code does not define who I am at all. But yet in my heart of hearts, it kind of does. I like the idea of being a nomad. I like the idea of spending a lot of time with the same people in different places around the world. Connection, community, intimate conversations are so important to me, and I thrive on that. So is my client work. I think at this time, in my life, I only take on work with projects and people and businesses that I can help thrive in this world that are aligned with my, philosophies. I believe in human capital. I believe it's important to invest in people. I believe it's important to invest in transforming leadership models. I really believe that it's important to always have somebody in your corner that helps you be a better version of you. I have that. Maybe I believe in that because I'm somebody who needs somebody in her corner to constantly make me a better version of myself. I rely on that. Maybe it's because I think that I'm actually pretty shit when I'm not constantly checking in with someone to hold myself accountable and maximize my own potential and my, way of operating in this world so that I can, consistently take this 360 view of my life to see, okay, like which area of my life needs work. Because to me, it honestly just feels like a game of whack-a-mole, right? You just you address one area and another one pops up, So I really got this time management thing worked out, And next thing you know, maybe your idea of like home and living and is totally out of control, where, maybe you're really invested in your communities, but then you realize that you've been totally substituting and you forgot about the fact that maybe you want to have a loving partner. By you, I just kind of mean me, that to me happens. I go from looking for a loving partner, spend time with, to feeling disappointed, to immersing myself in living in community and really feeling extremely happy in that context, to forgetting that I wanted a life partner, like 6 months ago, and then also not really wanting to pick that ball back up. So having someone in your corner that consistently can help you look at which area in your life are you dropping your ball? How can we optimize this? How are we constantly in this 360 journey to make sure you're radiantly alive, fully present, and part of this world, How are we going to do that if we don't keep check on each other? So sometimes people ask me what is it that you do? Do you, help people grow businesses? Are you a life coach? What do you do? And I the answer to that is I take a 360 look at your life to help you be a better version of you. Now I'm focused around money because I think money and business because I think change is economic, right? So if we're looking only at your relationships, your family life, your eating habits, your motivation, but we're not focusing on how you make a living and what you do for a living and how you make a living and what your business produces. I work with a lot of CEOs and executives and people that, are decision makers in this world. So if I don't spend time with them looking at, all right, well, maybe it's the pipeline, or maybe it's just you. Maybe you are the problem in why you're not optimizing your life, right? And why you're not optimizing your business and why, there's a problem in the pipeline and why your team doesn't respond to you. And, maybe there's a cash flow issue because of your money mindsets. If it's happening in your life, in your business, you're the common denominator. So when I look at anyone's life, when I look at anyone's business and we sit down and we do a strategy day, I assure you we're going to take a look under the emotional hood of what's really going on in your life too, because might be the pipeline. Maybe it's about outlining the program. Maybe it's outlining the different revenue streams that you can have, or maybe it's your inability to really perceive opportunity in a way that would suit you at this juncture in your life. I believe in it because I need it, right? I have people in my corner to do that, and I've just never seen it happen any other way. If there's not enough money, then we need to see why it's not there. Is it the revenue stream? Is it the offering? Is it the program? Is it you, and which part of you is not seeing that there are better opportunities? Which part of you is not delegating to the people that could do it for you? Where's your heart? Where's your head? Do you problem solve the situation from your head or from your heart? Do you have to go in there and make yourself vulnerable and be really transparent? Why, with the people on your team and your business, your board, like why things are not working out? Or do you need to just like walk in there with your head and be logical and just kind of problem solve because maybe that was the part that you've left behind? Maybe you got distracted by something. Maybe, ongoing chronic health issues are really impacting your ability to like envision a future where you're aligned professionally, but you're also aligned in your work and your life and your relationships, Well, you wake up every day and you're just really happy, Anything is possible if you're intentional with your time. One of the people I'm super excited about interviewing actually next week is this incredible woman, and I hope you tune into that interview when it's ready, who, aside from having 3 children and running a startup, is one of the happiest people I've ever met in my life. She has an amazing relationship to her children, her new partner, the people in her community. She's actively participating in her community and, she's running a successful startup. That to me is a amplified life, like she is somebody who I was dying to interview, not because she does have it all, but she doesn't have it all in the sense that she is looking to make it all happen. She's very intentional about her time. And that's one thing all of us have in common, and that's time, If you look at the way that you plan your business, whether that's your investment plan, and then look at your execution pathway, you'll see where the things are misaligned. And I personally don't think that your life strategy is any different, right? I mean, if you run a business, you're going to have to do inventory, right? You're going to have to run your P&Ls. You have to understand where's the money coming in and where are you losing, where you're spending it and where you're losing opportunities. So when you talk to me, whether it is about your business or your life, we're going to talk about that same thing. Like, let's take a little 360 inventory of your life and your business. Because if you don't, how are you going to see where you're losing opportunities? And by opportunities, I mean time with people you love. Money you could make instead that would be effortless versus money that you're struggling to make where you're hating how you make the money. Change you can drive in the marketplace. Where can you be a better leader, a better example? Where are you walking into the room with preconceived notions versus really being intentional about, who you are, what you want to bring to the table, and how you want to enter the room. Like, what do you want to bring into the world or into the equation of a friendship or your community? Are you the dead weight? Do you know how many times I've caught myself being sort of like the energy vampire, wondering why, my social calendar wasn't busy? I mean, I've gotten way better about this over the years, but it matters, right? Like, we all have problems. I know that my life has never been a walk in the park. To the contrary, sometimes I find it astounding to see how much of an obstacle course my journey really is. And at the same time, sometimes people tell me that I make it look so easy, which I highly doubt because that's not my experience. I don't feel like it's easy, but I pay attention. I pay attention to my choices. I definitely have my moments where I think, wow, I cannot believe that just went sideways so much. I cannot believe that ended up working out so badly, but it's about, okay, well, I can, throw myself a pity party, or I can take a look and see, all right, well, what is under my control? I think my biggest discomfort is when life, business, projects, don't go the way that I would like them to. And I feel like I'm at the effects of other people making decisions. And that makes me insanely uncomfortable. Because I always want to feel like I'm in charge of my destiny. I'm an entrepreneur for a reason, because it makes me feel like I'm living in manifest destiny. I manifest my reality. I live my reality. I feel in charge of the world that I created, and that comes with its ups and its downs. And I absorb responsibility for all of it. But all of it together, good or bad, and trust me, like, I've failed businesses, I've lost money, I've made bad decisions, I've made amazing decisions, I've made really poor decisions too. I've had controversial, the whole thing, like life, this thing called life? Yeah, whole thing, full spectrum, full circle, complete range of fully expressed and experienced emotion, from static experiences and ecstasy all the way to gut-wrenching pain and devastation, disillusionment, the whole thing. But the whole thing, full cycle, that's what makes me feel alive. That's what makes me feel like I live in a full experience of this opportunity in this reincarnation, in this lifetime that I've been given. I love business. I love building businesses. I love helping people rapidly scale. I think time and time again, I love helping people build new businesses and optimize businesses and pivot businesses and grow them and do all that stuff and bring in the right people for the right jobs, change is economic. My attitude towards money or the change of my attitude towards money and capital was really life-changing, because, I would say one thing that always trips me up is being a professional woman in this world that is also very heart-centric, unconventional, and eccentric, I would say, sometimes. So I defy the norms, and I can rub people the wrong way, and aside from just the average obstacles any professional woman has come across, and if you followed the Me Too movement, just please don't tell me you don't know what I'm talking about, because you do know, seen it, we all know, we've experienced it, we've seen it, we have heard other people saying it. We might be looking the other way or pretending it's not happening, but it's there, we all know it's there. And so that's the stuff that's always tripped me up, where I'm very awake, so I notice. I see racism, I see disparity, I see sexism, I see homophobia, I see, the whole thing. I see it, I feel it, I experience it, I feel for people, and sometimes it makes me angry. And it can lead me into a position where I pigeonhole myself, or, even find other people I can complain about it with, rather than jumping out of bed in the morning and saying, cool, I see you, I recognize the problem, and here's what I'm doing about it. Sometimes I need to not give it power over my day because I can't change it. Sometimes I need to have some enriching conversations. Sometimes I need to slap somebody on the wrist. Sometimes I need to make economic decisions that I will not be purchasing products, services, or participate in events that feed into a dated system that I do not support. Money is economic. In order to make those choices, I need it. I have it. I want it. I think it's important. And I'm also very, very mindful about where I spend it, why I spend it, how I spend it, and, who I give it to. Because if that's where the power comes from. And that's why I think business is important. You don't like the way somebody runs their business? You don't like the way they, treat their employees? Get a new job. Don't buy their products, Or, better yet, create a company with a product and a service and a system that represents the change that you want to see in the world. And yes, if you want help with that, call me, because that is precisely what I do. Didn't mean to talk about what I do, but, it's about what I think and how I feel and how I live my life. But inevitably, what I do professionally is tied to who I work with, what I do, how I live, what I believe in, and how I think I can make the most impact in this world. So thank you for listening. And that was my solo podcast for the month. And as always, if you're not subscribing to our channel yet, please do so. Go to dnxpodcast.com, subscribe on iTunes, and If you want to send me questions that I can answer live online, please do so. I want to hear, and I'm happy to answer questions live. You can do that. You can also leave a review on iTunes, and I will answer those questions you send me as a review. Thank you so much, and until next time. That's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for your ongoing support. Before I leave you, I want to invite you into my world. Please go check out dnxcommunity.com. This is where you'll find the other nomads and evaders of convention. We'll see you there. And if you're interested in our English-speaking events, go and check out dnxglobal.com. You'll find the link below this podcast as well. And if you have time, one last favor, please go to iTunes, look for Silvia Christmann or look for the DNX podcast and leave a review. Thank you so much, lovely people, and I'll talk to you next time.